Hello. How is everybody doing? Who is there? Welcome to the 1% Code Live show. Let us see who's here. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. Say hello in the comments. If you're watching the replay, #replay. Tonight we are talking about 3 ways. And Jessica, if you will type this in the comments, let me pull up the comments to make sure I can see. Yes, Jessica is here from our concierge team. She can help you. Make sure you get your questions answered and everything you need while you're here in the 1% Code Collective. So today we are talking about, I have my notes over here, 3 ways to make an extra income without the extra burden. If you can drop that in the comments for me, Jessica. So 3 ways to make an extra income without the extra burden. So it is Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hurricane Tropical Storm, oh good, she can hear me. Hurricane Tropical Storm Elsa passing through. We had some rain, but hopefully I have internet. Where are you guys? Are you safe? Has it gone by you yet? Let me know. And let me see. So I want to again say welcome. If you're new or just joining me in the 1% Code Collective, I'm so happy that you're here. I am Dr. Melva, your host, and I am a board certified radiation oncologist, serial entrepreneur, and investor. And I help top income earners like yourself create multiple streams of income so that you can trade in those golden handcuffs and, get your job to be a hobby. All right, so I don't have my live show host here today, Leland, who joined me the last time. So let's just make sure my signal is good. Again, it looks like it's good, but the storm is out there, so hopefully I will be able to stay on here with you tonight. So let's get into it. So how many of you want to make some extra money without the extra burden or extra headache? Let me know in the comments. All right, so it's not just low-income earners that want to find other ways to make money. Many of us as top-income earners also find that we need additional resources to bring in other forms of money, i.e. multiple streams of income. So let's talk about those, okay? How can you start to earn extra income? And a couple of themes, I can never get my hair right on these things. A couple of themes that I have my notes here and on my computer that I really want to touch on. Everything with the 1% code is about leveraging your time, your energy, your money, your credit, your resources, your network. You want to be leveraged instead of the active main source of income for your wealth portfolio. Okay, that's like the first part of being in the 1% code. Okay, being 1%, you have to have some leverage in your network. And the big overarching kind of theme of how to avoid burden when you're adding these different vehicles to increase your income, the way I look at it is that you want to look at a type of income that you can systematize, what's the word? You want something that has a system. It's not a guessing, a kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall to see if it's done. There's a system and a way that the money is earned in the income stream that you decide to add on to your main career, okay? I want it to have a system. I want it to be something that you can duplicate, something that you can do over and over and over again. And when you take that style of making the additional income, you want it to be something that, for example, if we talk about, before I go into details, you want it to be a way that income can come in that you can do over and over again, easy duplicatable, okay? And then the third one is you want it to be something that is able to scale, something that you can grow. So you have a system, you have something that's duplicatable, and you have something that can sell. That's what I look for when I consider an opportunity to have an additional income stream with less burden. Okay, let me know if this makes sense or if it's helping you in the comments. So another way I look, or I think about this, the way I step back and look at this when I'm looking at additional income streams or business opportunities or ways to add to my bottom line with different sources, is the level of expertise needed to run this business or to run this income stream, to keep it afloat, to maintain it. For example, if I were looking at acquiring a business, let's say in something that's like uber specialized, right? Like something I have no idea about, and I couldn't just easily go find someone. It's kind of like the McDonald's, this part of my hair is crazy. It's kind of like the McDonald's analogy. They're running these billion-dollar corporations making money on real estate. If you haven't watched The Founders, you have to check that out. But they're making this money essentially with real estate, and then they have minimum wage. Although now I've seen McDonald's signs, they're offering $12 an hour. So like they've gone from, in Virginia, minimum wage is $9.50 as of today. I'm recording this July 8th, 2021, and I know it's going up again. But they're making money with minimum wage employees. So when you have a business model that can continue to, that is a system that can duplicate and that you can scale, and it can be maintained with, lower paid workforce, less skilled workforce, less expertise, then that is less burden. So I hope this thought process, kind of this 1% code methodology, is helpful to you. Because honestly, when you research, and I've been in a lot of these forums or these webinars, and maybe you've experienced the same, when people talk about ways to create passive income or 5 things you can do to add $1,000 per week to your bottom line as top income earners. Like we want 20 to 30,000 per month, right? Like we need those big numbers that make a big difference. It's a lot of little things, and they focus on the actual business instead of almost teaching you how to evaluate the deal. It's that concept of teaching you how to fish instead of giving you the fish. So you take these principles and you can evaluate an opportunity easily, so much more easily, and it takes away a lot of the fear. I know a lot of you, when you're coming into the group, you said you had fear. I have a post on it. I talked about my fear of success a little bit the other day. You can see that in the group. But a lot of you have this overwhelming just like stop sign about uncertainty, fear of getting started, loss of capital. Sound familiar? It's a lot of you. It's not just you. So if you're like, that was me, it was you, and you. It's a common theme. I may have visitors come in tonight. Hopefully not, but they are here in the house. Mom of 3. So one of the ways to get over fear is, again, it's calculated risk. It's the known. So hopefully these type of principles that you can apply when evaluating a type of income will help you to be more successful. So let's get down a little bit into 3, okay? And these 3 opportunities fit all of these criteria. Let me pull out my notes here that Jessy and Team Co-Collective have helped me put together. That's why you have to have a team. If you're not outsourcing, you don't have a team, you can't do this by yourself. So thank you, Jessy. All right, so the first one, invest in real estate. Okay. And I've talked about this before, but there are so many different ways that you can get into real estate to create additional funds without the extra burden. So, real estate is, you have the opportunity to be a landlord. Okay. You have an opportunity to be a lender in real estate. You have the opportunity to be a joint venture partner with someone else who does the main part of real estate. They have the crowd sharing opportunities. They have, you have local investors that get together. We've gotten together with local investors and done joint ventures, combined LLCs before we get to like security and exchange lawyers. It's lower cost. Like, you get 3 or 4 people together, you put in money, you get into an investment, and you have the main people that do the main parts, right? So it's collaboration. So you can look at buying properties pre-construction, condos, you can do new construction, you can do a fix and flip property. Hello and welcome. Let me know who's here, where you're joining from. Getting in real estate is one of those that fits the criteria that I was saying for income streams of something that has a system. You can duplicate it, you can scale, okay? Because real estate, you can put together a portfolio in this state and you can go do it in another state. You can do it within your city, different regions, zip codes, and you can have a system. You have numbers. So when we first started in real estate, we had numbers. We did single family homes because we were looking at something. Again, I'm looking at the level of expertise and burden to maintain this. So for starters, you want your paint and carpet, okay? You don't want something like one of the ones we did early on where we had foundational and structural issues. You want to come in easy, start on something you can paint and carpet. And a lot of times if you work with, to get the extra burden away, you work with, hey, Lindsay Nicole, thanks for joining from Virginia Beach down the street. Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining. Let me know what questions you have. Are you in real estate? Are you investing now or doing any of that? Congratulations to you, by the way. You have a little one, right? So the level of expertise needed. So I'm talking about real estate. So investing in real estate, there's so many different opportunities, and you can start at painted carpet. You can start being a lender. You can start collaborating with other people. you can do partnerships. So I think that's one of the ways I would suggest starting without the extra burden. Number 2 is launch an online resource. Now, super new to everything. Okay. What are you thinking about? What ideas do you have about? Let me know for income. I don't know if you were here in the beginning, kind of the guidelines I talk about for leverage when you're looking for an income stream. But these are examples that apply to that. So number 2 is launch an online resource. Okay. There are like so many extremes to online. So there's digital courses, there's coaching programs, there's group coaching programs, there's, you can have niche YouTube channels, which is something like we've been working on slowly in the background, where it's like faceless YouTube. There is, what else? There are books, there are planners, there's, you could do paid webinar series. Like there's so many things you can do online. And I think to take the burden out of it, again, you want to look at systems. So if you get into online coaching or a resource or a product, let's say you do a product, affiliate marketing falls under online resources. And I have some resources in the group about that. There's so many different ways you can do that, but you can be successful by having a goal. Okay. So whenever you start any income stream, what I suggest is having your numbers, knowing your numbers up front. So I always take, if you want to make $1 million, how many dollars is that per month? You're dividing the resource, the year by 12, and you get to that like 83,000. You look at that and then you break it down on how many sales do you have to have, and then you have metrics to say, to get this many sales, how much exposure or how large of an audience do I have to have, or to not do that if that's overwhelming. If you're new, it's easier to tap into someone else's audience. So for example, I did a podcast interview, which I'm going to share on my podcast. And I invite you to listen if you haven't listened to the 1% Code, with a dentist. He owns like 10 practices. He's this entrepreneur, Dr. C. Wonderful podcast episode. He already has 10,000 downloads per month. So instantly I'm in front of his network, and some of them may be here today. So hello, if you are watching this and you are here from the podcast. So that's taking some of the extra burden away because you're being smarter. Instead of starting from scratch, many of you are MDs, PhDs, PharmDs in this group, lawyers. Leverage your credentials, your positioning to get in front of an audience and get to that extra income faster. I hope this is helpful. Let me know if that's helpful, because I think a lot of times we feel like we have to start from scratch, and you absolutely don't. Look for a need that you can fill, create a product for it, get in front of someone else's audience, collaborate. That's less burden, because for many years, I worked on digital marketing, and I learned everything about digital marketing and funnels, and my group M360. If you watched the beginning of this, I used to work on digital marketing, but then I realized that wasn't where my power was. My power is in working with the marketing team and people that are inviting people to my group, the concept of social selling, like putting the message out there, engaging your audience, and putting me in front of another network, a new audience to grow my message, as opposed to me just working on doing the marketing. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not a marketer, I'm a physician, and I think like a physician. I'm a creative, and I'm a business, entrepreneur. So this is how I think differently. And to be honest, I didn't think like this in the beginning. When I was looking at money, I missed the part of that strategy. I would sign up for a course, and I didn't ask my question of, okay, what is my product or what is my service? When I finish this course, how am I going to make money? How is this going to be an income source for me so that I can drop the whole golden handcuffs and have different sources of income, so I can turn my job into a hobby, my career into a hobby, so I can show up to work because I want to, not because I have to. And I didn't ask those questions. So that's why, regardless of the 3 ways I give you the income to earn, I want you to think about the system. I want you to look for things that have less burden. Look for something that has a system that you can duplicate, that you can scale, and you don't need a high level of expertise to maintain that income source. That's the key. It's all about leverage. So that was an example. Getting in front of other people's audience, leveraging your degrees, leveraging your expertise, and turning that into income. So that's number 2. So we talked about number 1, real estate. Let me know what questions you have. Number 1, real estate, and number 2, an online resource, which, I kind of expanded upon that. And number 3 is stock markets. So how many of you are already in the stock markets? Are you doing, long-term investing? Are you doing day trading, options? Where are you? Is this like a portfolio you have in your 401k, 403b, depending on where you are? It sounds really easy, but I think it almost gets forgotten. So one of the ways I've used stocks and, mutual funds and, kind of the market differently, or to think differently, is that we have done the self-directed IRA. So we were first introduced to that concept. How many people know about self-directed IRA? So let me know in the comments. So we were first introduced to that concept in the real estate investing section. And by we, I mean my husband. He's my investment partner. And we learned about it to be able to use and grow an investment or, real estate investment portfolio using the self-directed IRA. We've also used a self-directed IRA to invest funds in startups. So I'm not in fintech yet. I don't know how many of you are. I would love to hear your experience if you've done that. But we are in artificial intelligence. So we used money in a self-directed IRA and cash to get in a collaboration. And I think I talk about this on one of the podcast episodes, to get into a collaboration to invest in the friends and family stage of an artificial intelligence startup. So let me tell you why this fits the investing without the extra burden. And that is because the systems that are in place are the people who are the founders of the investment, like a startup. They have their systems, they have things written out. They had to get to a certain point to be able to take the investors. There's risk with that, of course. It's duplicatable because I think once you get the experience in investing or using stocks, using self-directed IRA, you've set up an account. We use iraclub.com if you want to check that out. They've been reliable, and one of my friends in real estate have used them for a long time. So I think it was iraclub.com. I'll check, but they've been really good, really solid, dependable, great online system to check your money. Excuse the hair, to check the money. So that's a really good self-directed IRA. I remember we looked at a ton and we didn't know who to trust. So they're good, but that's a system. They have it together. Once you set up your self-directed IRA, you have the funds, when you can contribute, you can duplicate it. You can do it again. You can find another opportunity to use that money. So this is how I look outside the box at things that are common, like stocks. And then again, I'm not an expert, but I'm learning about options, long-term options, leaps, day trading. My husband is pretty great in Forex and reading charts. So I think I have it here a couple months ago now. Actually, I'm like 6 months in. I'm still in the learning phase, but I got my little candlestick book. You see how nerdy I am? Like, who does this? Do any of y'all do this? Like, are my other fellow nerds here? I'm like, picture and color, but I'm learning all about like candlestick patterns and stock investing. I think this is a great skill to have. I'm still working on the time to invest in it. Some of the resources I use for that, if it's helpful for you, is Mark, I'm blanking on his name, but he's with the Come Up series, and they do really good education on long-term options. And Modern Black Girl is another source that I've followed. She's on Instagram, and I think she's starting a YouTube channel. And then I'm trying to think the other guy, Joel. I don't know if you guys know Dr. Nzinga Harrison. Joel Harrison has courses on What Would Joel Do? And Renee Matthews, who's here, shout out to you. She introduced me to a lot of these resources. So just starting and adding that skill set. And then like what I've done is I started learning. I've kind of dipped my toes into it, but my goal again is to collaborate, right? Like I've bought some crypto here and there. I've got in the stock markets. I've learned a little bit, but I'm going to work with people who've learned it until I'm at the point that I can learn it, or I'm just going to follow a system. All right. So those are the 3 ways. Is this helpful? Let me know. I know some of you are here. I know Dr. Lindsay's here. Who else joined me? I can't see the name. I hope that's helpful. Really the goal of these shows is to open your mind to the possibilities, give you some of the tips and tricks that have really served me well and the people in my network, and things that like you wouldn't just see when you're starting. Because I think part of the 1% code and why I've had so much success is that, thank you for the love, why I've had so much success is that I learned really hard. I had costly mistakes. So how a lot of you are saying you don't want to lose the money, you don't want to risk the capital. Well, I'm high risk. I didn't realize I was high risk. I was talking to my line sister one day, and she's like, yeah, Melva, like you do stuff nobody else really does. And I was like, oh, really? Nobody else does this? So anyway, I've taken the risk, and now I've had the time and the reflection to come back to hopefully share with you and save you some of the trouble. So when you're looking at adding an additional income stream, if you have nothing, you want to have a number. What is your goal? What will make a difference? What are you trying to achieve? Do you want to have extra money to be away from the baby so you can go have a spa once a month? Is your goal to take an additional vacation? Do you want to work less hours? Do you not want to moonlight anymore? What is it that you're trying to achieve? Because for some of you, $1,000 to $2,000 a month would make a huge difference. Others of you need $20,000 to $30,000 a month swing to really change your life. So you have to define that. And then when you look at the opportunities, the next is like, how fast and how reliable is this source of income? Because a lot of us, like if you're looking for a non-clinical career, it takes a lot of time and it's still a job, right? So when you're looking at things that you can create with leverage, and the other point I want to talk about, which I'll go into in a second about leverage and money, is you want to look at like, how long is it going to take to build that up? And again, the shortcuts to that, which I just love, are getting in front of other people's audiences, collaborating, networking. Like you're just going to get there faster, period, right? So that might speak for itself. And then lastly, it's the less burden, like for example, let me give an example. So we talk about business acquisition, which probably could have been one of the top 3, but I'll say that's a bonus. You can take an existing system where you can find someone with a skill set that can run it for you. And you're checking in at the strategy CEO level, taking the proceeds where the business is paying for itself. That's pretty much what we did with Cold Stone Creamery. So we're franchise owners. We own a Cold Stone Creamery in Hampton, Virginia. We're working on a second one in Norfolk, and we have a Subway. And we essentially went into a model. So franchise is a model. And when I was on the podcast, the dentist actually asked me, he's like, do you feel like you can be an entrepreneur in the franchise model? And I'm like, yeah, because I'm looking at it as systems, duplicatable, buying multiple stores, repeating the same formula for success that we had in one, repeating on the other ones, right? So that's the entrepreneurial spirit I see. And then the systems that are duplicatable and scalable, this billion-dollar franchise corporation has figured it out. And then they are paying tons of money in marketing. They're testing. They're doing all the work that I don't have to pay for to do. So that's how I look at franchise models. But you could do that with a lot of different businesses. Maybe your specialty or expertise is in an industry that needs someone to come in you have an idea about it. You don't have to be in the business, but you can oversee it. And again, your workforce, the level of expertise is not high. Like, we're not talking about, maybe some of you are, so if you are, I'm sorry, we're not talking about opening multiple medical clinics. Like for me, I'm a radiation oncologist. If I had to open multiple radiation oncology centers, the costs are high, the level of expertise is high, the risk is high. No, I'm going to go and open something where I can train someone quickly. I can replace them even faster. There's a high profit and I have less burden because it's a system, it's duplicatable and scalable. So that's how I think. That's the 1% code. I hope you got value. Any questions before I hop off? I know I talk really, really fast. So was this helpful? Did you learn anything from this? Let me know what topics you want. I'm so happy to see you here. Is it raining where you guys are? We'll wait for any comments. Josephine, let me know if there are any comments on the Facebook side where I can't see. I'll just wait a few minutes because I know I went through that really fast, but I hope it's helpful. I get excited with this stuff, right? It's just fun to see. So, all right. Let's see. All right. Any questions? No questions? Definitely helpful for you. Okay, well, thank you, Dr. Lindsay. Is it raining in the beach? I'm in Chesapeake. I think it stopped here. It did a lot of damage yesterday. We have, what do we have tomorrow? We have a T-ball tournament tomorrow. I hope the fields are dry. It's in the afternoon. So, all right. Well, thank you all so much for joining. If you have questions, you're watching the replay, you want to ask me later, pop them below. Myself or my team, we will pop in. And if there's something they need me to answer, I'm happy to answer. Again, thank you so much for joining me tonight. When you could have been doing a million other things, I'm so happy that you're here. And again, I would like to invite you to join me in the 1% Code podcast. If you haven't heard the episodes, the links are in this group. Until next time, we will be seeing you. Next week's live topic, thank you, Jesse, is about creating multiple income streams to support the career you love. So we're going to go into this in more depth. Until I see you again, thank you so much. Bye.